All viewers and listeners are invited to take part in the discussion. All opinions are welcome and respected. Sali Masa is open to assist those experiencing injustice. The motto of the show is, if God is with us, who is against us? Seen every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. on Radio Bandido TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus Boxes, Digital Free-to-Air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 a.m. and on RJAM News. Chacha Hinmo Baby is a news-oriented program that tackles topical issues and headlines with the support of DZRJ field reporters. Hosted by the legendary Jimmy Morato, Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus Boxes, Digital Free-to-Air Channel 29, DZRJ 810 a.m., Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 a.m., and on YouTube channel RJAM News.
Serbisyo publiko ba ang hanap mo? Programang tutulong at aalalay sa iyo. Tuwing linggo, Carmen Ignacio, Mark Anthony Ignacio, Miss Teresita Amansek, Malasaki Kapwa. 2 oras ng aksyon, ng tulong, ng puso. Malasaki Kapwa. 1:00 hanggang 3:00 ng hapon. Malasaki Kapwa. Mapapanood at mapakikinggan sa DZRJ 810 AM sa Radyo Bandido TV, TV Plus Boxes, Sky Cable Channel 224, Digital Free-to-Air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 AM at sa YouTube channel
RJAM News.
Malasaki Kapwa. Aksyon, tulong, puso. Malasaki Kapwa.
May problema ka ba sa asawa, kaibigan, katrabaho, boss o negosyo? Tanong mo, sagot nila attorney. Mag-PM lang ng inyong problema at sasagutin iyan live ng abogado ng bayan na sina Attorney Nikki De Vega at Attorney Carlo Nicolas. Libreng payo ng abogado mula kina Attorney Nikki at Attorney Carlo. Ang Buhay at Batas ay isang programa na nagsasanib ng samut-saring mukha ng buhay at iba't ibang aspekto ng batas. Sabi nga nila, ang buhay ay parang batas. Paminsan mahirap, pero may abogadong tutulong sa iyo. Watch them every Tuesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. on Teleradyo Bandido, Channel 224 Sky Cable, Free-to-Air Channel 29, TV Plus Boxes, DZRJ 810 AM, Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 AM, or on YouTube.
YouTube channel RJAM News.
Filipino heroism, ingenuity, marksmanship, tatak sa ludo kami. Isang pagkilala sa galing ng mamamayang Pilipino, hatid ay serbisyo saan man sa mundo. Natatanging kwento ng mga overseas Filipino workers, OFW advocates, legal luminaries, educators, scientists, and inventors. Mga piling Pilipinong patuloy na nag-aangat sa pagtingin at pagkilala ng sambayanan.
Litrato Philippines, hosted by Mike Francisco and Michelle Encarnacion, showcases a variety of wonderful, uplifting beauty queens from all over the world, Philippine tourism, culture, and lifestyle, and issues being faced in our country. Catch them Monday to Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Teleradio Bandido, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus Boxes, Digital Free-to-Air Channel 29, Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 AM, and YouTube channel RJAM News.
Ayan. Magandang hapon po, no, sa lahat po nanonood ng Litrato. Sorry, nakamute lang ako. Litrato Philippines at araw po ng Martes, no, November 2. And 53 days before Christmas, I think. And for those who are watching right now, hello and how are you? And of course, I hope you're already eaten your lunch. And on other country like New Zealand, I think it's 6 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 6 p.m. right now, and then they are preparing for dinner. Hello, everyone from New Zealand, and for those in Myanmar, and I think they are 10:30 a.m. Am I not mistaken? 10:30 a.m. Is that right? 10:30, Lynn? Yeah, yeah, and they are preparing for lunch. No, but they already already eaten their breakfast as well. No, and for Rwanda. Is this Rwanda is here? No, not yet. I think that's the translator of Myanmar. Later we will ask his name, no, or her name, so that we can tawag dito, introduce him or her also. Anyway, while waiting for our guests for Miss Rwanda. We would like to invite everyone to watch Litrato Philippines. You can watch us via Sky Cable Channel 224 and all TV boxes and DTT boxes nationwide. No, and also no, you can hear us via our radio station DCRD 10 a.m. And of course, you can watch us on our social media account facebook.com/DCRD 10 a.m. and our YouTube channel RJ AM News, no? And it also you can visit Litrato Philippines page. You can see our live there, no? So that you can watch or I don't know if you're going to skip for today and watch it later, you can have the replay or rewatch this live, no? At our page, no? This RJ and Litrato Philippines, and of course, in our YouTube channel RJAM News, no? And for those who didn't eat on your lunch yet, you may eat with us while listening, no, to our queens, and also for those who are driving, just keep safe. And before we started introduce our guests, I have a report, no, from our reporter, Sir Dan Torbeles. Sir Dan, good afternoon po. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Oo. Yes, rinig ko. Can you hear him also? Guys? No, no. Sorry. Hold on. Um, hold on. Hold on. Hold on, brother. Can you hear the reporter? Eva? Can you hear Lynn? No? You
Yeah,
cannot hear?
I hear
Ah,
you.
you can hear, no? But Eva cannot. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Oo, naririnig ka na daw. Yeah. Sige, go ahead.
Watch Reporters Hour on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. and on Tuesdays from 11:30 a.m. to 12 noon.
ang Frontliners, Damayan, Talakayan at Aksyon. Tuwing linggo, alas 3 ng hapon hanggang alas 4. Kasama si Jude Ika. Live sa DZRJ 810 AM Mega Manila, DZRJ Teleradyo Bandido via Sky Cable Channel 224, TV Plus Boxes at Digital Radio Free to Air Channel 29. Sa Facebook, www.facebook.com DZRJ 810 AM. Sa YouTube,
RJAM News.
Ayan. At pasensya na po, no? Nagkaroon lang kami ng konting technical glitch, no? Kasi I don't know what happened to our our previous reporter. I cannot hear on my board, no? I have how do I call it? Mixer board, and I already connect him already on our mixer board, but he didn't appear, or I mean he cannot hear, no, by our queens, and also via our live, no, on the radio station. Anyway, no, we will continue to our guest for today. We will start, no, I think for our guest from New Zealand, no. It's already evening here. Hello, good evening everyone, and this is our candidate for New Zealand. She is 24 years old, no, and she holds a Bachelor Health Sciences degree from University of Auckland. Um, she is representing New Zealand. Her advocacy encourage people to become involved with political spaces in their countries to advocate for policy that protects our environment. Individually, we can all play our part in protecting our environment. For example, through recycling or ride sharing. Yeah, of course, it is a good idea also when you are not use your car, and then you have your I think your neighbor with the same place. I think you're going to the same place. You can ride so that I mean uh the smoke are lessened through our air pollution. It will be help and lesser traffic as well. No, will give you more time to I mean, it will give us less vehicles, no, on the road, so that you can travel faster than the usual day that you are going to your work. No. However, to see the large scale changes, we need policies that support individual efforts to prevent climate change. No, let's welcome our guest from New Zealand, no other than Ma'am Eva Wilson. Ooh, good morning. Good evening.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Eva.
Hello.
Hello,
How are
Eva.
you?
I'm fine. No, anyway, you can call me Mike. No, for our but that's my name. No, Mike Francisco. It's MYK Mike. And can we ask what the status of your country regarding COVID? So for the start, no, maybe I can share with us. No, last yesterday, as of yesterday, I think we have additional COVID-19 cases. If I'm not mistaken, is hold on, I'll give you the exact figure, no, so that I will not be uh, tawag dito, interfered, no, by people who saying that I'm lying or whatsoever. So I'm referring to the Department of Health data, no, so the exact data we can share for you. And my phone is freezing. I don't know why. Oo, and I'm still waiting for the data. I have it. As of yesterday, we have additional 3,117 COVID cases, and number of cured or healed, additional 5,124. And the number of deaths is 104 as of yesterday. No? The total COVID-19 cases in the Philippines is 2,790,375, but the number of healed is 2,703,914. So our active cases is 43,185 as of today, and number of total of deaths is raised up to 43,176. That is plenty, no? And very sad, no, to hear that we have a lot of number of deaths, no, in our country. But I know, no, some countries did that well, no, and I know our government doing their best as well. But maybe we're not just rich as other countries, so we cannot buy um, the number of vaccine. No, as of now, I think it we had already vaccinated up to 40% up or turning 50%, and the kids are starting to been vaccinated already here in NCR or National Capital Region in Philippines or Manila. Um, I think they started vaccinated 12 years old and to 17 years old. And the businesses are definitely not all are open. No, not all, no, but some of the businesses are open and has a restriction to have a 50% capacity inside their premises. I mean, in the restaurant, they allowed, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 30 to 40% on inside or for the dine-in. And the protocol still no needs to wear face mask, no, and here in the country, we also wear face shield. No? Oh, we have a face shield. I don't know what's the use of face shield, but okay, let's give the government has a chance, no, for them to use the face shield, no, and of course, we need to practice social distancing when you're coming over to the Philippines. If I'm not mistaken, according to the immigration, um, hindi I mean all not all countries are allowed to visit our country. You need a special letter from the government to allow you to visit, no? If it is urgent or whatsoever, and maybe they will allow you to enter. And the restriction not only for overseas Filipino workers who are coming home in our country, you must be vaccinated, no? And then they have a test kit, no, in the airport. When you are already negative, that's the new rules, no. When you're already negative, you can go freely outside the airport. But if you are positive, um you need to be quarantined up to 10 days. That's what the rules, no, of our government, no, when you enter in a country. So and the schools are most are online, no, because most of the parents are not comfortable, no, to send off their kids, no, on their school, no, because like I said, here in the country, not all people are vaccinated, and some people are skipped to be vaccinated. I don't know why, and that is why, and also, no, uh, some issue that already no the government are not I mean the parents are not comfortable with the Department of Education said, no, they they will not require the teachers to be vaccinated, no, when they going to school, no. That is why the parents are not comfortable to send also their children because their teacher are not vaccinated, no? So they were thinking, oh, it's a horrible, move, no, for them, no? So maybe, I don't know, but as of now, still, no, they are not, the most of the parents are not agreed, no, to send they send their um, children to the school without concrete plan, no, for them, no. Maybe we need to have a concrete plan. That's why I'm still asking for you guys, no. You can maybe you can help me also so that if I'm going to attend a press con or discussion with the Department of Health or Department of Education, I can share your country's doing, no, in order to give them an opportunity to know what are the plans, the best suitable plans for them in order to reopen our schools, no, so that the kids can go face to face, including the colleges, because most of the students here, no, are are having a hard time listening or educating themselves through online, no? Especially in their laboratory subject, they cannot do it well, no? They need to be there in school in order to learn more than having in-house and, buying their own tools, something like that, and it's very expensive to do it. And that is why, no, some of the students are opted not to go to school yet. Mm-mm. That's what their plans. In order, they can skip 1 year or two in order to see what are happening, and then if everybody is vaccinated and no more COVID-19, I think they are willing to go back to school. Anyway, we know about from you, no? New Zealand. How about your country? I already shared what is happening in your country. So go ahead.
So in New Zealand, we are, especially after hearing those numbers which you've just given me, we are very, very lucky. I work as a public health advisor, so I'm quite often dealing with these numbers and cases in my daily job. Today, during our lockdown, which is still remains one of the strictest in the world, we've reported 126 cases, and that is enough for New Zealand to be plunged into a full-scale lockdown. So currently, while I'm completing Miss Earth, I am not allowed to associate with people outside of my house. We are now currently allowed to meet with one other person from a different bubble. Schools, like you said, majority closed. We have some high schools beginning to reopen, but unlike in the Philippines, as you've said, we have a vaccine mandate for the teachers. So to be a teacher in New Zealand, you must be vaccinated currently. The due date for you to receive your vaccines is in the coming months, and then after that you will be required to be fully vaccinated to be a teacher in New Zealand. And that has actually rolled out to about 40% of our workforce. 40% of our workforce needs to be vaccinated in order to retain their jobs as we go forward in the pandemic. So yeah, I think New Zealand has been very, very lucky, and I think the reason because of that is that early on, not only because of our the fact that we're an island and we're relatively isolated that way, our government made the decision that elimination was the strategy from the beginning. And because of that lack of hesitancy, and rather than waiting to see how it was going to play out, they made that choice, put us into a very, very strict lockdown. During the first wave of COVID, we managed to eliminate it from New Zealand. And then after that, we lived for about a year very, very normally. We attended concerts. We had 0 cases for a majority of that time. Now, in the last couple of months, in August, we had Delta arrive at our shores. Now, Delta is a completely different ball game for us in terms of dealing with it. It's looking to be that elimination is no longer the strategy New Zealand can aim for. And because of that, we've had to really adapt in the way that we're dealing with it. We are fortunately very, very lucky that we secured enough vaccines for our country early on. And I'm very saddened to hear that the Philippines has struggled to get a hold of the vaccine, because going forward, New Zealand's strategy, vaccination has been our number one tool when it comes to combating this virus. We no longer want to be relying on lockdowns because they have such a huge impact on people's mental health, their capacity to learn, and also our economy. And so vaccinations have become our new step forward. Currently, we're approaching 90% for everyone's first dose. Once the entire country reaches 90% at their second dose, then we will reopen with a new sort of alert level system, which I think will probably be more in line with a lot of the world's systems overseas, where restrictions are put in place. So you have to wear masks and face shields, there's limits on gatherings, but less reliant on lockdowns to be the way that we fight this virus.
And how about the kids? How your government doing? To have a face-to-face class in your class, in your country. Sorry.
Yeah, so at the moment in New Zealand, most schools are closed. I believe that the later years of high school have reopened. Unfortunately, since then, I must clarify, I forget that other countries are unaware of our status.
It's
so
okay.
the Auckland region, we are currently in a lockdown because we're experiencing cases here. The rest of New Zealand, which is a majority, they do not have a large outbreak of cases, so they are at a lower alert level, which is what we call it, so they have less restrictions. So they are attending school as normal, but within Auckland, it is only high school years at the later years that are currently in schooling. An issue that we are seeing with that, though, and especially for the younger ones who are still at home, not all families have equal access to the internet, and not all families have equal access to devices to be doing online learning. So a really quite sad flow-on effect of COVID, not just the disease itself, is that it's highlighting the inequities we have in our society. We're having families having to choose between which child will be able to attend school today because they only have one device in the family. So it is a very, very stressful time. We are excited to see that schools are beginning to reopen in future, but there, like you said, there is a lot of hesitancy with families sending their kids back to school, especially the ones in the age groups, which is 12 and under, who can't be vaccinated yet.
Mm-mm. And for the WHO clearance, I heard is already still the 12 years old or 17 years old are allowed to be vaccinated, but the ages six to I don't know 6 or 5 in the US, or they already did it, and they are waiting for the result, no, so that if the process is okay, maybe the WHO will allow also the other country to do it, no. I mean, vaccinating 6 years old up, no, children, so that they can go face to face, no. The I heard from other country also. Uh, I just forgot what country it is. They said, no, they have a difficulties on preliminary kids, no. I mean the kinder, and then the nursery, and then the elementary. They have a problem with wearing face mask, because difficulty of breathing, no, for kids, no, for a long time. I mean, 5 hours or 4 hours wearing face masks are difficult for them, no, to do that. So that's why some of the parents opted, no, not to send their children to school, and ask for homeschool instead. Oh, that was their idea, no, in order to have their kids, no, to continue their education. And I know, no, that's not only the problem with that particular country, and also most of the country also has a problem with the same situation regarding the breathing, no, of the children. So that is why they just allow to have face to face. I think the teens, no, from high school and colleges, they are allowed to have a face to face because they already vaccinated as well. No? But the children below 12 years old, 11 years old below they are opted to, or they are has an option not to send their school, not to send their children to school, and opted for homeschool or online school, no. Anyway, how about the businesses, and I mean, New Zealand are still not open for tourists. Is that the situation there right now?
So in New Zealand, only New Zealanders can return to the country if you are currently overseas, and we have a
Mm-mm.
mandatory managed isolation process.
Mm-mm.
That process historically has been 2 weeks long. Now,
Mm-mm.
with the outbreak, we are seeing more cases develop in our communities and are coming through the border. So that sort of made us shift the way that we're tackling it. Historically, MIQ, managed isolation, that has been our first line of defense against Delta. Now that it's already in our communities, the managed isolation isn't necessarily the number one thing we should be concentrating on. We are now switching out the people who are in managed isolation from overseas, and we are now instead filling it with people from within the community who already have COVID. That usually would be 2 weeks. Just recently, they've announced it'll now be shortened to 7 days, followed by 3 days quarantine at home. And this is also dependent on receiving a negative test. If you've passed all of your tests that you take along the way, then you'll be able to be free in the community once again. But yeah, so our borders are very strict. It's put a lot of pressure on a lot of families and a lot of people, though, because our spaces in our managed isolation facilities, since you can't quarantine at home, there's literally a lottery to get a space in the managed isolation facilities. I have a friend overseas at the moment, and they are applying for a spot, and there's 30,000 people who log on every time there's an opening, and there's only about 2,000 to 3,000 spaces each time. So we've got a lot of people who won't be able to come home to see their families for Christmas, who won't be able to be here over summer. It's it's a very tough time for a lot of families because of it.
And maybe we're hoping also here in the Philippines that we have a good Christmas as well. Everybody is wishing to have a normal Christmas. But if it's so, no, and the government asks to not to go out or stay at home, we will do, no, and I mean we will follow. That was what we can always do to help our government in order to ease, no, the number of COVID-19 here in our country. Anyway, um, I'll go to the other candidates so that maybe I will ask you another question later. But let's hear from our guest from Myanmar. No, Myanmar was lately was very uh, controversial, no? Including the Miss Universe pageant, what happened to their queens, and then some queens are also threatened, no, not to speak out for their country anymore. I mean, what's happening there? But let's give it an opportunity to have a safe conversation with me and Mar. No? Of course, no, we don't want to get her in trouble, so we will do our best. To have a good conversation with Miss Myanmar. She's very beautiful. Are you with me, Emma? Eva, sorry. Yeah. Anyway, Eva is please. No, I know. No, she's not. She's moving. Maybe she's not typing. She's just typing something. Anyway, let's hear no from other guests from uh, Myanmar. No? Let's introduce our guests. So here it is. I'm just waiting for my phone. It's freezing, something like that. Hold on. But before I started to introduce you, may I know who is the translator is so that I can address him properly? Hello, translator. Who are you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. May I know your name? Uh, yeah, go ahead. Hi, translator. Don't be shy. Can you tell me your name?
Me?
Yes,
You're
you.
Oh, yeah.
You're
My name is, you can call me Kim.
Kim.
Yeah, yes.
Kim. As in
It's actually KHIN, but I don't mind.
KHIM. No, it's okay. No problem.
Okay.
KHIM. Kim. uh, I'll go for that. Anyway, let's introduce our guest, no, from Myanmar. I hope I will I'll pronounce it right. Her name, no, I'm so afraid now, no, because her name is difficult for me to read, no. Even my technician saying, "Oh my gosh, sir, it's very difficult to read." But we will do our best, no, to be professional here. No? Anyway, um, she is 22 years old and also a software engineering of the computer university and a student. Now she's working freelance and she's going to become an actress, no, in their country, Myanmar. No, let's introduce our guest from Myanmar. Is no other than Lin. Hold on, I'll just. Oh, hold on. No, no, I'll do my best to introduce her. Um, Lin Hetet Yao. Did I pronounce it right?
No, Ling tac tac toe.
I'm sorry.
You can
Lin.
call me Ling. It's okay.
Lin. Come again. Lin.
Hat,
Hat.
tat, yeah.
Cat. As in cat.
tat.
Yeah.
H
Tat.
H D E T tat.
Tat. Tat.
Tat.
Lin. Tat. Cat.
Tat. Toe.
Yo. Ano? The last one was yo.
Joe. So
Yo.
Kyew Joe.
Yo. Oh.
My name is Sula. I know.
In Philippines, we read it yaw, no? Luckily,
Yeah.
no. When you said Lin, cat, meow. I'm sorry. I thought it's cat, no. Sorry. I'm just having fun with your name. But Lin Cat Cat Yo. That's right.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's that. I told you. I'll make it right. Anyway, um, let's introduce her. No, let's hear from her. No, I have the same question with you. No, since you hear our status, I don't know if your translator already told you what I'm talking about. Did you understand what I'm saying earlier regarding COVID-19 here in our country? Um, is she with you or she is somewhere else?
I am actually in a separate place, but I have given
You're a
a
separate
brief
place.
idea about, yes, what you mentioned about
Oh.
COVID and schools reopening.
Okay. But for the restriction, no, you're not allowed to be seen together. So, I think how many meters are allowed for social distancing in your country? 5 meters, 10 meters? How many?
Yes, 6 meters.
6 meters. Oh, that's too far. Oh, here in the country, we only need 1 to 2 meters, no? For social distancing. In you, no?
Yeah, the official guideline is 3 meters, but we tend not to see each other very often.
Oh, I see. No, this is so sad. No, I hope your country will go back to normal, just like we do. Just like we are hoping. No, in our country, somehow we seen some people who are stubborn. They are getting together. I think they are dating somewhere. Oh, I've seen they're holding hands, and I don't mean to be bitter. No, saying, "Hey, that's bad." when I see them holding hands, no, because social distancing must be applied. So, for me, it's for my it's a good opportunity for me, no, as a single, no, to have some people with me also, a single too. Anyway, let's hear, no, from Myanmar. What's happening in your country right now? Go ahead.
ဆိုတော့မြန်မာနိုင်ငံမှာဘာဖြစ်နေလဲလဲသူမေးသွားတာကတော့တူတူလေးပဲဒါပေမဲ့ကျွန်တော်တင်ကိုဗစ်နဲ့ပတ်သက်တာရောpolitical issues ကိုပြောလို့ရတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့သူစိုးရိမ်တာကလည်းအရင်တော့ Miss Universe တွေပိုင်းနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့လေ speak out အရင်လုပ်တဲ့ Miss တွေနည်းနည်း safety issue ရှိတယ်ဆိုတော့အမကိုလည်းအရင်မပြောချင်လည်းရပါတယ်တဲ့ဒါပေမဲ့အဆင်ပြေလောက်လေးပြောလို့ရှိရင်အဆင်ပြေပါတယ်တဲ့
Okay. Also, Mama,
Okay.
Well, what is happening in Myanmar? So, like to know what could the that would be it. That we got a dolly a chain is so variable. Not really idea. I think the COVID. Jam hope COVID and also directed the oxygen. Japima is on a myriad for no. You are not the cool by Jaro. ဒီ version တွေမချိုးဖြစ်တာလည်းရှိရပြီးတော့လင်းတို့အခုနိုင်ငံရေးအခြေအနေကအကုန်လုံးသိတဲ့အတိုင်းပဲပေါ့နော်ဒီ political အခြေအနေကလုံးဝမကောင်းတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်ဒီ covid နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးမှလုံးဝဒီထက်ကလူကြီးတွေကအများကြီးတာဝန်ယူပေးနိုင်တာရှိရပေါ့နော်အဲ့လည်းရှိရဲအဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မလို့ covid vaccine တွေမထိုးနိုင်သေးဘူးပေါ့နော်ဒါပေမဲ့အခုအခြေအနေတော့ဒီတပ်ဝက်ပြောရတဲ့အချိန်မှာလို့ဒီတော်တော်လေးလူတွေဒီ covid ကြောင့်အများကြီးပြီးဆုံးသွားခဲ့တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မလို့အခုချိန်မှာတော့ဒီရတဲ့ covid ဆေးတွေလည်းဝယ်ထုတ်ကြတော့ရှိရပေါ့နော်အရင်ကြီးတော့ပြောလို့အဆင်မပြေဘူးပေါ့နော်ဒီနိုင်ငံမှာအခြေအနေကမတည်ငြိမ်တဲ့အခါကျတော့ဒီကျန်းမာရေးအတွက်ဒီ covid-19 အတွက်ကိုလို့တိတ်ပြီးမှအရေးမဆိုင်နိုင်သေးပါဘူး
So,
Kim.
yeah, let me just translate that briefly for you. What she answered was the current status in Burma is that we are currently suffering from the third wave of COVID. And the number of deaths are actually from the post-COVID symptoms and the post-COVID issues. Due to controversial political issues in Burma, our what so-called government can't really vaccinate all of the children and also adults. Only a few people are vaccinated and they have to get their own vaccinations by their own money and it's not supplied by the government. So due to some controversies, it's not so easy to talk about what's really happening here. But the main thing is that we are suffering from the third wave of COVID, and also the flu is happening here, and the conditions are very unstable.
Unstable. How about the ano? How about the kids are still they are still online classes, or they are having a face to face classes right now?
ကျောင်းသားတွေကရောဟို online ကနေပဲသင်နေတာလားတဲ့အမဒါမှမဟုတ်ကျောင်းနေတက်နေကြပြီလားတဲ့
ဟုတ်ဒါဒီအခြေအနေကကျတော့ခုနက Miss New Zealand ကပေါ့နော်ဒီ COVID နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးမှဒီ version 2ရဲ့ကိစ္စတွေပြောတော့လေတကယ်လေးအဆင်မကောင်းဖြစ်သွားတယ်ပေါ့နော်လင်းတို့ဒီနိုင်ငံအခြေအနေကအကုန်လုံးသိတဲ့အတိုင်းပဲဒီ COVID vaccine ထိုးအတွက်ပေါ့နော်ဒီအများကြီးမလုပ်နိုင်ကြဘူးပေါ့နော်အထက်ကဒီနိုင်ငံရေးအခြေအနေကြောင့်လည်းလင်းတို့ဒီနိုင်ငံမှာရှိတဲ့ကလေးတွေလင်းတို့လူငယ်တွေတော့ university student တွေစတဲ့ middle student တွေအကုန်လုံးပေါ့နော်အကြောင်းမတက်ရဘူးအခုဒါပေမဲ့ဒီ COVID first wave second wave third wave မှာအကုန်လုံးပိတ်ထားတာနေပြီးနောက်ဆက်တွဲဒီနိုင်ငံရေးအခြေအနေကြောင့်လူတောင်းနေအများကြီးပိတ်ထားရတယ်ကလေးတွေအကြောင်းတက်လို့မရဘူးဆိုတော့ဒါပေမဲ့အခုအခြေအနေကတော့နည်းနည်းလေးဘယ်လိုပြောမလဲအကုန်လုံးကတော့သူတက်နိုင်တဲ့ဘက်ကနေဒီ online speaking တွေတင်လာလည်းရှိရဲတချို့ဒီကိုယ့်ကို learning ပြန်လုပ်ပြီးမှအကြောင်းတက်နေရရှိတိုင်းဒီတိုင်းအစိုးရကပြဋ္ဌာန်းထားတဲ့ဥပဒေကတော့အခုချိန်ထိမဖွင့်သေးဘူးပေါ့နော်ဒီနိုင်ငံရေးအခြေအနေကြောင့်မလို့အဲဒါကြောင့်မလို့ဒီ COVID vaccine နဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ခုန Miss New Zealand ဘယ်လိုကာကွယ်သွားရတာအဲ့လိုပြောသွားတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မို့လေတော်တော်လေးဒီနိုင်ငံအတွက်စိတ်မကောင်းဖြစ်မိပါတယ်ပြီးတော့ဒီ Miss at ဒီနေ့ try ရတဲ့ရည်ရွယ်ချက်ကလည်းလူမျိုးနိုင်ငံမှာအခြေအနေမကောင်းတာသိရဲဒါပေမဲ့မြန်မာကုစားပြုဒီလိုအခြေအနေမကောင်းပါရဲ့နဲ့လည်းလင်းတို့မြန်မာတွေလုပ်ပြနိုင်တဲ့ဆိုတော့စောင့်ပြချက်တွေကိုဒီသိသွားစေချင်လို့ပေါ့နော်ဒီ Miss အခု join လာဒါပေမဲ့တကယ်အခွင့်အရေးရှိမယ်ဆိုရင်လင်းတို့ဒီနိုင်ငံACC ဖြစ်သွားတဲ့အချိန်ကျရင်တော့နေရာတန်နိုင်တဲ့ဘက်ကနေဒီ environment နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ဟာအကုန်လုံးကိုလုံဆောင်သွားချင်ပါတယ်
Nice. Go ahead, Kim.
Okay, so concerning with the kids, due to the controversial political issues, we don't currently have official guidelines of vaccinations for schools reopening, and it has been almost 2 or 3 years that education has been on hold, both due to COVID and due to the coup happening here too. But everybody is doing what they can to continue their education through online classes, but officially no school has reopened yet. And what she heard about when she heard about what Miss New Zealand said about her country, she's really happy for New Zealand, but also saddened for our country as well because we don't really have vaccination guidelines or anything helpful for the schools to reopen. And she joined Miss Earth to show that even when we are in the darkest of our times, the people in Myanmar can do what they can to speak out for what is really happening in here.
Can I ask a personal question with you, Kim? Are you already vaccinated, Kim?
I'm actually vaccinated. Yeah.
2 doses.
2 doses, yes.
Yeah. How about Lynn?
Yeah, I finished the 1 dose.
1 dose. So you have another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it is scheduled?
November 4.
November 4. Or
Yeah.
2 days from now. 2 days from now. Oh, good luck. Anyway, please send this message to her, no? Kim, regarding, if ever, no, she feels threatened or whatsoever, no, and she is not safe, no, in her country, kindly ask her, no, we are open to, I will be willing to help her to be in Philippines, no. I have a lot of friends here that maybe I can ask, no, if especially we can adapt Lynn for a while. Something like that. Or maybe Eva, no? Eva is also, I think, welcome Lynn, no? If she felt threatened in her country, she is also welcome to New Zealand. What do you think, Eva? Is this right?
Is what right? Sorry, there was a small cutout, and I think I've missed your question.
If Lynn is feel threatened in their country, would you ask her also to stay at your country for a while?
Oh, of course, of course. New Zealand, we're in a very complex place right now where we know that there's a lot of conflict happening elsewhere in the world. And then due to the COVID pandemic, we've sort of not extended our reach to other countries as much as I think we would have done historically during these times. So me personally, of course, whether we have the resources in terms of our government and things like that, that's another question. But as someone who likes to advocate for policy and politics that always cares for others, then yes, of course.
Yeah. Mm.
That's very
Can you
kind of
send
you.
her my message to Lynn?
Yes, I will. So, အမဟိုအကယ်၍များတာဒီနေ့မှာပြောတဲ့ကိစ္စရပ်တွေကြောင့်လည်းဒီလိုပါကြောင်းပဲဖြစ်ဖြစ်မြန်မာနိုင်ငံမှာနေရတာဟိုအစိတ်ဖြစ်တော့မလုံးကြုံတော့ဘူးအကယ်၍တစ်ခုခုချင်းချောက်ခံရတယ်ဆိုလို့ရှိရင် Philippines ကလည်းသူကိုနိုင်တဲ့ဘက်ကနေပြီးတော့ကိုပေးပါမယ် Miss New Zealand ကလည်း personally ဆိုလို့ရှိရင်သူလည်းကိုနိုင်တဲ့ဘက်ကနေပြီးတော့ကိုပေးပါမယ်လို့ပြောတာပါ
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's to feel you secured and you have a lot of hope, no, on doing things, no, especially we're fighting against not for the politics, but we're fighting against the environment, no, for the betterment of the people and also for our future kids, no, and let's hear, no, from you, no, what are the national what are the environmental issues that you are facing right now? Can we start in Myanmar first before I go to New Zealand? Kim, can you translate my question? What are the environment? What are the environmental issues that Myanmar are facing right now?
အမဆိုသူမိတာတော့အခုလောလောဆယ်မြန်မာနိုင်ငံကဘာပုံစံနဲ့ပတ်သက်လို့ပါပြဿနာတွေတွေ့ကြုံနေရပါလဲ
Alino, the advocacy to reduce air pollution and live a clean, healthy environment. So, Tikara Alino, Nayama, Pimianiaka, air pollution, Nidimian Pimia. The Motogani to the Ditangui, read those where the Amai, soon to be PC, the Gani to the Amuri, now the refrigerator to the Amuri, a Golobono. I got Amuri a Golonga. ဒီထဲမှာလေထုညံ့မှုဖြစ်စေပြီးမှဒီ climate တွေ change လာတယ်။ဒါနေပြောပြသွားလို့ပဲဒီရန်ကုန်မှာဆိုလဲတနေ့နဲ့တစ်နေ့ပိုပြီးမှဒီ temperature က higher ဖြစ်လာတယ်။နောက်ပြီးတော့လင်းနေတဲ့လေရဲ့ဒီ home town မျိုးလေးဆိုလဲအဲ့လိုပဲဒါကချင်ပြည်နယ်ဆိုတာအရင်တော့ကအရင်ဟိုရှိတုန်းကဆိုနင်းကြဘူးပဲဟိုဒါနင်းကြဘူးပဲဆိုတာမကြောက်ဘူးเนาะဒါပေမဲ့အခုကတော့မဟုတ်တော့ဘူး။ကနေပူပဲဆောင်းရည်ရောက်အမှန်ဆိုဒီချင်းဆိုဆောင်းရည်ရောက်ပြီလေဆောင်းဝင်ပြီဆိုရင်အေးနေရမယ်အခုရန်ကုန်မှာလည်းဒါဆောင်းဝင်တဲ့အချိန်မှာမိုးရွာတွေပါရှိတယ်အဲ့လို climate change နေတဲ့အခါကျတော့အဓိကဒီ air pollution ကြောင့်ဖြစ်တာဒီ air pollution အဓိကဒီ air pollution နဲ့ဆက်စပ်တယ်ပြီးတော့ deforestation ဖြစ်တာပေါ့နော်ဒီသစ်တောတွေပြုန်းတီးမှုကြောင့်ရာသီဥတုကပိုပြီးမှပူလာတယ်အဲ့ပူပြီးမှပူလာပြီးမှဒါဒီ air pollution တွေ reduce လေထုညစ်ညမ်းမှုတွေဖြစ်တယ် deforestation တွေဖြစ်တဲ့အခါကျတော့ effect ဒီဘယ်အချိန်မှာတိုက်အသွားတာလဲဆိုတော့ဒီရာသီဥတု climate change နဲ့အချိန်မှာသွားရောက်သွားရာသီဥတုတွေဖောက်ပြန်တယ်တနေ့ပူလာတယ်နေပူတဲ့အနီးပူမှမိုးရွာတဲ့တချို့အချိန်တွေဆိုတာရှိရပေါ့နော်အဲ့လိုကြောင့်လင်းတို့နိုင်ငံမှာအခုဖြစ်များနေတဲ့ဒီ environmental issue ပြောမယ်ဆိုရင်တော့ the reduce air pollution နဲ့ဖြစ်မယ်လို့ထင်ပါတယ်
Okay, so her answer was the main environmental issue we're facing is air pollution and climate change caused by it due to motor vehicles on the roads and the trash burning and the gases produced from the household items like refrigerators and air conditioners. These gases have accumulated in the air and it has actually drastically changed the climate in Burma. The air temperature has gone up, and even in Yangon and also in her home town state, Kachin State, it's not as green as it used to be due to deforestation and illegal burning of forests and the trees. So there has been a drastic climate change happening in Burma, like the temperature has gone up too high even in winter, and it raining even in winter. So the main environmental issue happening in Burma is the climate change caused by the air pollution, and that is why she decided to advocate for that.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And can we know how about in New Zealand? Eba, what are the environmental issue New Zealanders are facing right now?
In New Zealand, we have a relatively complex issue with our environment. So New Zealand's branding internationally is Clean Green New Zealand, and that is an image that we would wholeheartedly like to always hold on to. However, that is slowly being etched away due to the industries which we are invested in, one of them being in particular being our dairy industry, which is huge in New Zealand, is one of our main contributors to our economy. However, the dairy industry and its offsets and the pollution that it causes is really detrimental to our environment, not just because of the CO2 emissions that are caused by the farming itself of the cows, but because of the chemicals that are used in the process. For example, we have a lot of nitrates entering into our waterways. Something that we are famous for across the world is our waterways and our landscapes, and that unfortunately is being corrupted by this industry. Now, the challenge is that since we have so much money invested into it, and not only the money, but people's livelihoods and people's histories farming these lands, this is their way of life. How are we going to then work with them to change and shift away from this industry in New Zealand when it's so sort of embedded into our culture? I think an issue that comes along with that is that we have a government who historically has been a bit indecisive when it comes to climate issues, and they will take small steps, but not necessarily ones big enough to affect real long-term change. And that is because there's such a divide in our culture, because the dairy industry in New Zealand is a very respected industry. However, its effects are huge and they're so negative. And so it's sort of trying to toe this line and find a balance of where do we draw the line of industries that are polluting and damaging our environments versus industries that are bringing money into our country, and an industry that, just in all fairness, New Zealanders are proud of when it comes down to it. We're proud of our farmers. They contribute a lot to our country. And so we need to be working with them to sort of fix this issue of what are we going to do now that we know that this industry isn't sustainable.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, and I hope you guys have plans to do things in order to to come up with this problem. No, you have plans for it, and for in the future, we can solve this problem together, hand in hand, because we cannot do it alone. No, as we know, we cannot do it alone. We need help from others as well. Anyway, I prepared some question here, and I hope it will not conflict. And for those who are listening in Myanmar, it's just a question. Don't take it very, emotionally, okay? Can you translate it, Kim, to all the listeners right now in Thailand? I mean, in Myanmar language.
Okay. So သူပြောတာကအခုသူမေးခွန်းတစ်ခုတော့မေးပါမယ်တဲ့အဲ့ဒါတော့အရန်မေးခွန်းအနေနဲ့ပဲမေးတာပေါ့နော် so just a question ပါပဲတဲ့အဲ့လောက်ကြီးအထိစိတ်ထဲမှာမထားပါနဲ့တဲ့အကေတစ်ခုစိတ်မကောင်းဖြစ်တာပါညာဖြစ်မှာဆိုလို့တင်
Okay, in order for her to be safe, that I'm doing my best. Anyway, here's my question. If you have an opportunity, I'll start with New Zealand so that Lynn have a time to answer and think. Lynn, Eva, if you have an opportunity to become a president of your country for 1 month, what will you do as president and why?
If I were to become the representative and the leader of my country, the first thing I would do would be to consult with our Indigenous peoples and ask them what they think they need to move forward. So New Zealand has an Indigenous population of Māori. I am Māori myself, and most people don't tend to guess that. Māori, because of the way Māori culture is set up, we inherently really, really value our land, and we have a great respect for that. Not just in the context of the environment, but just a deep connection to the place that we come from. So if I were to be president of my country, I would like to make sure that the interests of Māori are prioritised in any laws that we make going forward. Historically, that has not happened in New Zealand, as New Zealand is a country that has been colonised. And consequently, because of that, we have seen a lot of inequities between our non-Māori population and our Māori population. And over time, these have widened. And so I would like to see Māori's interests being prioritised in all laws going forward, so that we don't see these health inequities, these education inequities. For example, vaccination rate inequities. We have lower vaccination rates for our Māori population, and also to put them at the front of climate action, as they are the people that know this land the best. They know how to care for it. They have lived in harmony with it for hundreds of years before European settlers came to New Zealand. So I would like to restructure our government and the way our policies are formed, so that they are always included and prioritised in our decision-making processes. And I think that if I were to only be president for a month, that would then be something that could be sustained long-term, even after my reign had come to an end.
Well, thank you very much for that. No? I love your plan. Even for at least time, no? You do something as a president. Maybe some people, no, I will not mention anymore. Maybe I may also, no, kick out of our country if I do that. I might ask, no, Eva to adopt me as well. Anyway, Kim, did you already get my question? I repeat it again. No, if you have an opportunity, to become a president, of your country for a month, 1 month, what will you do as president and why?
Tamara အဖြစ်တလထမ်းဆောင်ခွင့်ရမယ်ဆိုရင်အရင်ဆုံးနေရတော့လင်းတို့စီမှာ100 ethnic group ပေါ့နော်ဒီတိုင်းသားပေါင်းစုံတိုင်းသားအမျိုးစုံပေါ့နော်တရားလောက်ရှိရဲ့အဲ့တရားအကုန်လုံးတန်းတူညီတူရနိုင်တဲ့အခွင့်အရေးကိုပေးပြီးမှအေးချမ်းတဲ့ဒီမိုကရေစီကိုပဲလေဒီစောက်ချင်တယ်ပေါ့နော်ဘာလို့လဲဆိုတော့ဘာကြောင့်လဲဆိုတော့လင်းတို့တိုင်းဒါဒီမြန်မာနိုင်ငံမှာရှိတဲ့တိုင်းရင်းသားတွေအများစုကတန်းတူအခွင့်အရေးလူအခွင့်အရေးကိုမရကြတာများတယ်ပြီးတော့ဒီလင်းအခုနေတဲ့ကချင်ပြည်နယ်မှာဆိုရင်အေးကန်နေတဲ့စစ်ပေးရှောင်တဲ့ဒီဒုက္ခတွေအများများတယ်ပေါ့နော်လုံးဝကလေးငယ်လေးတွေအားဆိုအမှန်ဆိုရင်ဒီကလေးငယ်လေးတွေကအကုန်လုံးကျောင်းနေရမယ့်အရွယ်တွေပေါ့နော်သူကစစ်ပေးရှောင်နေတဲ့အချိန်ကြီးရှိတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မလို့ကျောင်းစာမတင်ရဘူးပညာမတင်ရဘူးနောက်တချို့တွေဆိုရင်ဒီစစ်ပေးတဲ့ကြောင့်အကုန်လုံးမိသားစုတွေဆုံးရှုံးပြီးမှတယောက်တည်းကြံခဲ့တာလည်းရှိတယ်တချို့တွေဆိုလည်းဒီစစ်ပြေးရင်းနဲ့ဒီဒုက္ခိတဖြစ်သွားတာလည်းရှိတယ်ဒီလိုပေါ့နော်တိုင်းရင်းသားပေါင်းစုံတွေအဲကြောင့်မို့လို့နေရတော့သမရလာတလားဖြစ်ခွင့်ရခဲ့မယ်ဆိုရင်တိုင်းရင်းသားတွေနဲ့တူတိုင်းရင်းသားတွေအကုန်လုံးတန်းတူညီတူရမယ့်အခွင့်အရေးကိုအကုန်လုံးပေးပြီးမှစစ်ပွဲတွေမရှိဘဲနဲ့ငြိမ်းချမ်းတဲ့ဒီမိုကရေစီနိုင်ငံကြီးကိုနေရတော့ဒီဆောက်ချင်ပါတယ်
So her answer was, okay, I'll start now. So her answer was due to the conditions happening here. A lot of people have been displaced internally displaced persons due to the civil wars happening in a lot of states in Burma. So if she were to become a president for 1 month in her country, she would want to build a peaceful, diverse and equal country for all ethnic groups, all hundreds of ethnic groups in Myanmar in order to step forward to the federal democracy.
Wow. I love that, no? And I hope you also free those people who have been jailed, no, for political, I mean, I heard there are some political prisoners you have in your country. I hope if you're going to be a president for a month, you better release them, no, for the peaceful of your country, no, to make it them peace, no, and not angry with the government as well, no. We will do it, make it right. And I think Myanmar people are very polite and as well they are lovable person. And I see a lot of beautiful ladies from Myanmar and I hope I can learn your language too so that I can visit Lynn personally. Hopefully someday if I have time or your country is open and back to normal. Maybe I'll visit Myanmar to know what's the culture and the tourist attraction that I can visit there in your country. Anyway, thank you very much for your time, and we have 4 minutes to go. I'll give you opportunity. I'll give you opportunity to thank those people who help you in this pageant. Let's start to Lynn. Go ahead, Lynn. Do you have someone to thank for? And all people, including the national director of Myanmar, Miss Earth Myanmar. Thank you very much for this opportunity to have Lynn with us. Go ahead, Lynn.
မကျေးဇူးတင်ခြင်းတဲ့သူတွေရှင်ကျေးဇူးတင်လို့ရပါတယ်တဲ့
Okay, Diane, thank you for inviting this the radio live chat. Thank you, Mike. And Diane is all Jesus not only on the Miss Coralan, we have just made my violence on the UGC, the Miss as Yamakusa Crown, UGC be editor, which is made my near Limbagani, a council town with JR, council to start on my church, my flipping. Flipping a colonel, flipping up any alone, near Api Jabuko, or Tansu variation.
မအော်မစ္စကတရားလို့ဟုတ်
Okay, go ahead, Kim.
Excuse me, I misheard something and I'm asking her back. I'm a Miss Earth တရားလို့ပြောလိုက်တာလားဆိုတော့ကျေးဇူးတင်ပါ
Miss Earth organization, the Miss Kuala Myanmar.
Okay. She would like to thank the persons from Miss Golden and Myanmar and Miss Earth organization, and that she will try very hard to in this competition, and even after this, she will try to advocate for the environmental issues, and she would like to request in the Philippines to support her too.
Yes, we will. I will support you. Both, all of you in Miss Earth, we will support you. No, because we love all those ladies who love our environment and fighting for it. Go ahead.
I want to think that one thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll just can you see me? She's the Filipino friends. When I met Odessa Delicaster, she is a War Beauty Cream, Philippines, 2019.
Okay. Oh, maybe I know her. No. Hello. What's her name again? I didn't hear well.
Odessa Delicaster.
Alexandra Pate Garcia. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alexandra Pate Garcia is my friend. Yes. Oh, actually, my true friend. No. I have a contact number with her. Maybe I'll tell her later or PM her. No, that you are thanking for being friendly to you. No. Anyway, Kim, is it okay so that I can go to Eva right now?
Yes, it's okay.
Ayan. Eva, do you want to say something to thank for and also the national director of New Zealand for giving you opportunity to be with us so the people can hear you not only in the radio station but also in the television right now. Go ahead, Eva.
Firstly, I'd like to say thank you for hosting me today. I've really enjoyed this. I actually did a pageant in the Philippines back in 2017, I believe, and I really, really loved my time there. So I would love to return once it is safe again to do so. I absolutely loved it, and the people were all so kind and so caring and so giving to us while we were there. So I have very fond memories of the Philippines. Yes, so thank you to my national director. I also have Nan Fon, who is part of my Miss Earth team, and she is watching me here today. So thank you for always supporting me. The other people would like to thank is actually my housemates who I live with. During lockdown, I haven't been able to access a lot of other resources, so they've had to step in and fill quite a few roles when it comes to putting together our content that we're doing. So I'm always forever grateful for them. And lastly, I'd like to just give a quick shout out to Miss Myanmar here. I'm very touched hearing about the status of your country, and I applaud you for being so brave and speaking out about that. And I hope that you find peace and safety in your country soon, and that hopefully COVID comes to an end as fast as possible. I know that in New Zealand here, we have been very fortunate, and although we are fortunate, we are still, afraid of this virus. So I can't comprehend what it must be like in other countries where it has a greater impact than it has had here. So yeah. Thank you to you both.
Yeah, thank you. No, Kim, don't translate already because already 2 o'clock. You can translate it to her later. No, I'm sorry for that. Well, I would like to thank Lynn. I would like to thank Eva and Kim. No, also as a translator of Miss Myanmar. And for those people who watch us, especially in Myanmar and New Zealand, thank you very much. No, and for those who are here, the Philippines, stay tuned. No, and susunod na po yung programa or the next program is Trending News with Panat B. No? Thank you very much again. It's me, Michael Francisco, and tomorrow we have an additional guest for Miss Earth, no? 2021 from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. here at Radio Bandido TV. Thank you very much and have a nice afternoon to everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
The views and comments